Marketing Monday. We're so glad you're here. We hope everyone had a wonderful holiday and is relaxing and enjoying some time off or your first day back and taking a break. Here with me today is Samantha Gasson from the Food Animal Concerns Trust in Bull City Farm. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi, Brittany. I'm doing well. I hope you had a good holiday.
I did. How was yours?
It was good. It was really good. Yeah. So a few days off and got another few days coming up. I love this time of year. It's really nice.
It is. Well, I hope you are staying warm on the farm. I hope everybody listening is staying warm in this polar vortex and all the crazy weather that's happening.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think we have a comment already. Hi, Lisa Marie. Thanks for joining us today. We're glad you're here.
Hi, Lisa Marie
from Austin, and Lisa Hansen in Kenai, Alaska. All right. We're so glad you're here and tuning in. Hopefully you're staying warm in Alaska.
I know, right?
I'm just thinking about it. It's our last Marketing Monday of the year, so we just wanted to check in and say, if you have any questions that we haven't addressed this year, go ahead and type them in, and we'll be excited to get to them. So it's kind of our Ask Us Anything Day. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about doing some year in review. So as you think about your business and what do you want to do in 2023. So looking at that. Hi, Audrey. Thanks for joining us today. We're glad you're here. Good afternoon from Kansas. That's fantastic. Oh, let's see. Lisa Marie says it's actually 36 degrees Fahrenheit, so much warmer today than the last week's at sub-zero. Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Brittany and I are in North Carolina, and I think my high today, I'm a little bit further north than Brittany, but my high today is going to be 36 degrees. So that for us is super cold. So Lisa, I'm very excited for you. That's 36 is something to celebrate.
Absolutely. I'm like, it's above freezing. Today is a good day. There is sun and no rain. Audrey says it's 14 getting colder. Oh, goodness, bundle up.
Oh, man. Oh, Kansas. Sorry, Audrey. Well, we live in a really old farmhouse. It's from the part of it's from the early 1800s and the rest of it's from the late 1800s, but still, I mean, it's an old farmhouse and it leaks. There's no insulation, nothing. Our washing machine right now, the lines are frozen, but it's just there's just every year, every winter, we're like, okay, next year we're going to figure out a way to put some insulation in those walls. But these houses are built so solidly. It's hard to get anything in the walls. But anyway, so I'm dying.
Cold. That's why we have so many sweaters on. It's great. Yes. It's sweater weather for sure.
For sure. Well, anyway.
Write us in. Let us know where you're listening from today. Write your questions. I am going to play a quick little 1-minute video from Mana Pro since they're sponsoring today. Thank you, Mana Pro. And we will be right back in 1 minute.
Champions, colleagues,
roommates,
and personal trainers.
Whatever role they play,
they're an important part of our lives.
In their quiet way.
And their not so quiet way.
They keep us young.
On our feet.
On the go.
They pull us back to nature.
And push us toward the next adventure.
And as much as we count on them,
they count on us all the more.
To nurture their lives.
With the same commitment.
To protecting them.
Helping them grow.
And thrive.
Treating them
as well as they treat us. By giving them a little more of our lives. Because no matter what role they play, out here
or in here,
we're here to make their lives the best they can be.
Mana Pro, nurturing life.
All right, welcome back. Thank you again to Mana Pro for sponsoring Marketing Monday. We appreciate you and thank you.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go for it. What were you saying?
I was going to say, it's such a cute video. I love watching it every single month. And I know it's the same one, but it's so cute.
It is. They did a wonderful job, and we really appreciate them highlighting heritage breeds in this commercial that they did. It's part of their Nurturing Life program. And I think that they are going to continue sponsoring us in 2023. They are our conservation list sponsors. So we're super excited about that. So yes, thank you, Manbro.
Thank you, Manbro.
All right. Well, it's almost that time of year. We do year-end lists and reviews. And Sam, you were telling me about, was it Corinna Bench?
Yeah, Corinna Bench with My Digital Farmer. And it's a podcast I started listening to in 2020. And I think she had maybe 20 or 30 episodes at that point. But she's a farmer in Elmore, Ohio. She's an organic vegetable farmer. So, I mean, I'm a livestock farmer, but there's so many similarities between the way she markets and the way I need to market my stuff. So I've got all of my friends at the farmer's market. I nag them all and tell them, you've got to start listening to Corinna Bench because she has so much great information. And she really does. It's worth checking out, especially if you're, trying to get your marketing game, step up your marketing game. I had no marketing game before Corinna Bench. I just didn't. I have to admit it. we did actually a couple of webinars with her, FactDid with her. And so they can be found in our archive of our past webinars. And they were good. She's really good. She presents things very well. She has a lot of energy. Sometimes it's too much energy and I have to turn her off and come back to her when I have matching energy. But she's just neat. She's just a neat lady, and just because she is a farmer, that it really does help, because it's a little bit different way of marketing things than you would like if you were selling shirts or something like that. And she talks about the importance of email lists and all those things that we've sort of been covering this whole year. She's doing, because it's like marketing 101. And which me, she put it, I went from being like totally overwhelmed with marketing. I still don't like it. I still don't think it's fun at all, not even remotely. But I really feel like Corinna gave me that sort of confidence that I needed to do better, and gave me the tools for it too. So some of the things I was doing already, I didn't know I was doing the right thing. So that was good. Nice. But there was a lot of stuff I wasn't doing that I needed to do.
Absolutely. I'm going to put her episode that we're talking about today up on our list. Let's see. And that was mydigitalfarmer.com/EP-191- between each word, how to evaluate your year and set business goals, my process. So for anybody that wants to go and check that out afterward, we definitely encourage you to. She's pretty awesome.
She is pretty awesome. And I'm actually, this process I've done I haven't done it the way she's suggesting. I'm actually going to do it a little bit more in depth the way she suggested it. But my husband and I always, at the end of the year when we're closing out our books, usually it's in January. Before COVID, we used to then go on a retreat, just the two of us. Once, that sort of magic moment with a magic spot where the kids were old enough they could stay at home by themselves. And then COVID hit, and then we just haven't done it. And I think we've suffered because of it, because I don't feel like we're on the same page all the time. And that really helped when we would have that time where we would actually evaluate what we'd done the year before, what worked, looked at the numbers, looked at our costs, and made decisions about, and we're going to be making some big decisions this year. Just making decisions about, okay, well, what enterprises worked, which ones didn't work, what should we do more of, what should we do less of. And I'm actually going to go through Corinna the way Corinna does it this year. It's very formalized, whereas I've always sort of done it in a more informal way, just whatever direction my brain wanted to go in, which is not always a good thing. Whatever direction my brain wanted to go in, that's what we did. And I think the way she suggests doing it, which is really laying out, looking at all of the things that you've done throughout the year, and then picking out the things that you don't want to do in the future because you just don't like them. Whether, can you outsource those things? What lessons did you learn? What things surprised you? That's the biggest thing for me. We started doing broilers this year, and we've never done them before, and they were a huge success. And so we're definitely going to add them. We did too many turkeys this year, so I'm going to do 100 less turkeys next year because it was just so many turkeys. So so many turkeys, and they took up so much space. It's like, if we're going to do that number of turkeys in the future, we need to have another freezer. It's the only way we can do it. So it was good. That was good. That process was good. But I think it's also recognizing what she did. Sorry, my dogs are up here. Make it a little bit crazy. But just recognizing everything that you did, because I think that sometimes we forget what we did throughout the year. And like every single year, I plan for fall classes, and I do it in November and December because I'm too busy in September and October. And every single year I regret it. I don't like doing the classes in November and December. So this year, that's one of the things I'm going to put on my list because it's in the front of my mind. Just, I am not going to teach any classes in November and December. And nobody wants to come to classes in December. I canceled 2 classes this year, and classes that I could totally fill in February or March or April or May even, or maybe even June. I don't even know. We'll have to try. So I'm gonna do things a little bit different next year. So.
Yeah, I think that evaluation of what you're doing is really important, so that you can make plans for the future and make changes that will be beneficial to you, your schedule, looking at what's worked, what didn't work. That's always really important. I know I don't do enough of that.
Do you do that for the Livestock Conservancy? Do you guys do that as an organization, or do you do that personally as your part of your marketing part of Livestock Conservancy?
So we are doing a lot of review currently. It's that time of year. We're working on updating our strategic plan as an organization. We're working very closely with our staff and our board. And I think it's really good to, look at where we want to go in the future and use what we're currently working on as a kind of a roadmap of, this was great, this wasn't so great, this is how we can make it better. And then really having those goals for the future is really important and helpful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is there any kind of advice you would give? Because I know the Livestock Conservancy is a much larger organization than Bull City Farm is. You've got a lot more moving parts, a lot more people, a lot more people that you serve as well. So is there anything that you feel like you use in the Livestock Conservancy or that part of this process that you guys are going through that would be helpful for somebody like me or Lisa or Audrey or anybody else?
I love to write things down and have like post-it notes for everything. So I'm like, okay, let's think like 5 years ahead. Like, where is it that I really want to go? And then set goals for each year to get there as like a little stepping stone. Because you don't have to do everything at once. I know I get super excited in January. I'm like, oh, new stuff. Look at I've accomplished so many things. And then you have to sit back and really look at your time and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach all of those things. Why did I think that I needed to do everything at once? And be like, okay, if I can do these 3 things and then next year do these 3 things, then I'll get to that goal that I want to be at in 5 years. Right now, I have backyard poultry and I want to start a breeding program for some of mine. So Yay! I've been working on okay, I need more space. And how do I get there from here? So try and set those plans and those goals for me personally. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that Corinna suggests, which I think is really a good idea, is she calls it, what are your 5% revenue generating I guess enterprises. I don't know what the correct word for that, but and one of the things, the example that she gave was her husband, Kurt. They're an organic farm, so when they spray is really important because and it's the same with when you're planting. So when you plant your fields, when should you plant? And give yourself a little bit of flexibility if the weather's bad or something like that. But just putting that in a dollar amount, which is this an easy thing to forget or like to be too late on, or you get caught you're in a drought period or something like that. So that's one of the things I'm going to do is actually go through our historical rainfall for the months we don't have a problem in the spring, but for us it's like we get too busy when we get into the fall, and then we always miss. We didn't this year, but every other year we have missed that winter or that early spring flush that we do winter rye, winter. So when we plant that, just doing it in that right window. So that's one of the things I'm going to look at, because even though it doesn't generate revenue for us, it saves us money because we can get everybody off hay a lot earlier. if we've got
That's
that
important.
nice
When
stand.
you're looking at your overall numbers, is like, where can you save money?
Yeah. And I don't think I've ever thought of putting that in when I'm looking at my goals and looking at what I'm going to do in the next year. So even, we have that in mind, but actually having it, okay, this is what this 3-week period, these are the things that are going to happen. So it's going to be very structured this year. My husband, he's going to hate it. But he'll live. I feel like I need more control over things. And that's one of the things I can control is my schedule for the most part, not entirely, but yeah.
Absolutely. No, that's important. Well, what is everybody else using? Type us in. Let us know how you're planning for the future. And it's always good to consult other people and see, how other people are doing. Because I know I'm always learning new things when I listen to new podcasts and listen and read books and talk to other people. And I'm always like, oh, that's a great idea. I should have thought of that. But yeah, putting a dollar amount to all of those things is a great way to look at it.
Yeah. Well, it's like so the years that we have planted, how many bales of hay did we save? How much money did that end up being? So then when you put it in money, you put it in financially, then I think about that financially, then it's like you can put a dollar amount to that and you can see how much your procrastination or a missing of a window, how much that costs you ultimately.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Lisa Marie says, we just bought a larger farm on Christmas Eve. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Lisa. That's so exciting. So exciting. Congratulations.
We've got big plans this new year. That's fantastic news. What a great way to start the new year.
Wonderful. I love it.
Yes. And always take time to celebrate those big wins.
That's another thing I think it's important to do. And I think we forget to do that. We forget to sort of recognize what we have done. So this is one thing I'm going to do this year is I am going to write down everything that happened this year. I'm going to go back through my journal. Well, I don't have my date book. My date book's my journal. Go through my date book and figure out, okay, what did I do? In which, just to remind myself of what I did in January of last year, because I can't remember anything. I'm getting old. Actually, I couldn't do it when I was younger either. I forget everything. It's just like out of sight, out of mind. That's why I keep making the same mistakes. So that's why I need to have a plan for the year.
Well, that's the first thing. If you weren't already keeping records, keep a record throughout the year of the things that you're working on, things that have been challenging, things that were, successful, and things that you can celebrate throughout the year. So if you aren't doing those things, definitely keep those records. It'll be helpful for you next year as you continue to plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's really important to recognize those wins. So for Lisa, you've got a pretty big win. I don't think you're going to forget that one, but still, I think it's good to remember the things that went really well, not just the things that went badly. Because I think sometimes we have a tendency as entrepreneurs to just beat ourselves up for the things we did wrong. At least I know I do. I think most people do that.
It's easy to forget that, some things have been really good, and just dwell on some of the things that we don't. I know I do that all the time. So
yeah, no kidding. I think that's normal human behavior.
Absolutely.
So Lisa, okay.
Lisa Marie also says we need to build a website, looking for ideas on who to build with. That is
we actually did. We did something about that, didn't we? Back in the spring about websites.
I think January, February last year, we talked to Andrew Perkins with Blue Stem Creative, and he builds websites. And he's a web developer, and he had lots of great tips.
Good ideas,
So that's probably one of the biggest things people can do if you don't already have a website is to get one. It's how you build the base of all of your marketing, and it's yours, and you can do with it whatever you want. It's not a third-party app like Facebook or YouTube or any of the other social media platforms that kind of, could get shut down at any time, aka Twitter.
Yeah. No kidding. The other thing is when you're setting up your website, make sure you have a way to collect emails, because that's another thing. Email marketing is that's the best way to market.
Yes. So Lisa, you'll need someone to host the website for you. That can be a program like WordPress or Wix. I think you use Wix. There's a whole bunch of different hosting apps that you
There's
can
some
use.
super simple ones too, like Squarespace. Is it Squarespace or it is Squarespace, not Square Up?
Yep. Square is the one where it takes your money, I think. Yes.
But you can also do one, so if you're already collecting money through Square or through Local Line or any of those other ones, you can set up a website or they'll help you set up a website. So I've got 2 websites. I've got the one that I did years and years ago with Wix. And then I also have one that's associated. It's my online store. And so I have a website associated, and I didn't do that on purpose. It's just that's the way you have to do your online store with Square. And it is simple. It is so easy to do on your own. I mean, really, it's hard not to do it. It really is. It's really easy. Wix is a little bit more difficult, but still not crazy difficult. It's a lot of plug and play kind of stuff, which makes it easy. So you don't have to hire somebody to do it, because I think then you sort of lock yourself in. If you hire somebody to do it, you lock yourself into them having to fix it for you as well. So I think it's better if you could do it on your own, or at least have somebody set it up for you so that you can change things, because you're going to be changing things all the time, because life changes.
They always change all the time. Absolutely. So there's lots of free options. There's also other options that you can pay to use. So let's see. Hi, Misty. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Misty.
Misty says, what do you use for record keeping?
I really like Excel, and I'm a little bit of a geek when it comes to Excel. So I use my Excel sheets, but I know a lot of other people have different programs. What do you suggest, Brittany?
Whatever will work best for you, as long as you keep up with it.
Yes. Okay. I keep up with mine weekly. So I know, I don't like surprises. I don't even like Christmas presents. I like, if you're going to get me a Christmas present, give it to me when you get it. I do not want to unwrap anything. I do not like surprises at all under any circumstances. And I used to love them until I got into farming, and now surprises are not good. Most surprises are bad. So I do it weekly. I keep up with it weekly. I do my weekly sales. I mean, if you don't have that many sales, then maybe do it monthly, but still it's just, and I compare from year to year. So I have a running comparison. I do my online sales. I do my farmers market sales. And then we have a herd share program. So I have my herd share sales, and then I have my classes and sales. So I separate everything out, and I even separate out by enterprise. So I've got one for pork, and because we're pretty diversified. So I have everything separated out, and I know how I did at any time in the last 5 years. I have data for that I keep up with every year. So I create a new Excel document every year for that year, but then some stuff I transpose over so that I've got it so I can look at it. So like I market, especially because I'm always trying to find a way to get out of going to farmers markets. So the second those sales start dropping, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, it's not worth it. We need to get rid of a farmers market. It hasn't happened yet, but that's always my hope. That's how I started that, was to prove that we weren't earning that much money at farmers markets, but we are. So
well, there you go. It's good to know. Let's see. Misty says, looking into Farm Bright. Have you used them, Sam? I haven't used them either. But as long as you're keeping up with your records, whatever system you have that's working for you.
So we use Square gives you reports. So if you need a point of sale, so if you're selling at farmers markets or you're going to shows or whatever, and you need to be able to take people's credit cards on site, then Square is really good about that. And then you can do online sales through Square as well. And then you can get a report. So you can run reports, which is nice.
There you go. It's good to know. All right. If y'all have any other questions, write us in. We'll love to get to those. Sam, did Corinna have any other advice that you thought would be helpful as you're looking into the next year?
I've actually got another screen over here. I'm not like staring off into space, but I'm new to 2 screens. It's pretty exciting. Everybody told me I should get 2 screens because I got my little laptop, and I poo-pooed them for 2-3 years, something like that. And now that I have a second screen, holy moly, whole different world. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna look on my other screen. She also suggests, and you really should listen to the podcast. It's really, really useful. She this was a good one too. She's like, what are you still holding on to from last year that's taking up space? And if you let that go, what would that give you room for? So she gave what she wrote for that was, she's got a bunch of different coolers all over the farm and none of them are the right size. So what she would like to do this year is get one that is the right size and maybe retire some of them. So it's not like emotionally necessary, but it could be if there's something emotional, like, I don't know, a friend of mine, she just lost her first calf. And she's like, I can't ever milk again. And I'm like, well, maybe, if she was to review that, give herself a little bit of time, that she might be able to sort of just step back and go, okay, that was taking up too much emotional space. I need to move on from that and get back into milking cows, or never, and get some sheep. That's what she's planning on doing. She's giving up cows altogether and she's just getting into sheep. I don't know. I wouldn't give up cows. I love cows, but still. And so she suggested that. And that's something I've been thinking long and hard about. We have a walk-in fridge and then we have a walk-in freezer, and we really need the fridge. We don't need a lot of space. The fridge is way too big for what we need, and we really need more freezer space. So that may be the thing I let go, is because I like the idea of a walk-in fridge, because it's really convenient and it's like my milk fits in there, my eggs fit in there, but they could also fit in a commercial fridge, like a big commercial fridge. I could just get another commercial fridge and turn that. So that's sort of what I'm thinking along those kinds of lines. And then she also was, she had, what's another one? She also suggested, what do you want to do more of and what do you want to do less of? So when I did that, or started thinking about that, I haven't written them down yet. I'm going to write them down because I'm a geek. But when I think of what I would like to do more of, I want to teach more. I really like teaching. I really like pulling together educational materials. That's something I really like. And I do that for FACT. And I really like doing that for FACT. And I'd like to do more of that for my business, for my farm business. And what I like the least of is going to farmers markets. I'd like to go to a farmer's market once a month. I just don't want to go every week. So, and I go every week. I do not take a break. So I think what I'm probably going to do, because I need to do something about that, because I need that day for other things now that I'm doing more work for FACT. And so I think I'm going to hire out. I'm just going to take the cut, because nobody makes as much money as me at market. But I think I'm just going to take the cut and maybe hire my daughter or hire somebody else to run the market for me. I've got a bunch of, teenagers that through camp and stuff that would love to do it. So I think I'm going to do that. So I thought that was a good one, because sometimes you just need permission. Just like other people don't like things like that too. I mean, I like the farmer's market. I just don't like it every week. And then what do you want? Think outside your business. What else do you want for your life? So I think that whole life work balance, that's been a challenge for me this year, a big challenge for me this year. So I'm going to be doing more of, how I can improve my quality of life next year, because I had an insane year and I can't do it again. I really can't. I think I'll just crawl into a fetal position and close the closet door kind of thing. So.
No, yes. See, that's really important, to give yourself permission for self-care. I think everybody needs that to continue running in 2023. Life is crazy. We all know it. It gets really crazy sometimes. So yeah, give yourself permission to take care of yourself. You can't do it if you're not taking care of yourself. So
yeah, and Karina, over the last year, she's talked about that a lot in her podcast, because I think that's something that we all get to a point where, we're caught up in our own success. I mean, not necessarily that you're incredibly successful, but you must be doing something right, or else you wouldn't still be in business, and you wouldn't be, so busy that you can't have a life. But so Misty has a couple of questions.
Let's get to it. So what we're trying to say, take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Misty also wants to know, what is your average profit margin on your livestock? She also says feed cost has just become challenging.
Yeah. The feed costs have, and we're going to raise our prices on our eggs by $1 this weekend. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it, but we have to, because we're not making enough money. And I think we do so many different things. It's really hard to say what our average profit margin is. I shoot for that we double it, so that, if it costs me $2 a pound to raise chicken, I don't even know if that's true. I have to go back and look at my records, but then I would charge $4 a pound, which is not even close to what we charge a pound, but still, that's the kind of thing. So I think that would be 100% market. It's sort of like sort of what the retail rule is. There are some things that are loss leaders for us, and eggs are certainly that. The chickens cost us a lot more. The layers cost us a lot more money year round, because we do heritage breeds. They take more time, cost more money year round, and they do not pay for themselves. But that's okay in my mind, because they are sort of a loss leader. They bring people into my booth at the market. They bring people onto my website or onto my online store, and that's okay. Because most people will buy something else that I have a higher profit margin on. But that's how I price things. I do not look around and see what everybody else is charging. I look at my costs and I price on my costs. And you need to figure out what profit margin you want. Like, probably, I bet I don't even have a 20% profit margin on my eggs. I bet I don't. I mean, sometimes I barely, in the winter, I'm losing money on them. In the summer, overall, I do make money on them, but it's not worth the effort on them for the most part. But so you need to figure that out too. I think you need to figure out, and don't forget to add in everything when you're looking at your costs. Add in your labor, add in what the feed costs are. I mean, it's tempting just to add in the feed costs and not look at your labor. But if you don't get in the habit of looking at your labor, then you're not valuing yourself. And I always thought about it like this. I had a friend at one point who had a goat dairy, and her husband helped so much with that goat dairy. I mean, a lot. And he broke his leg. He was running on the side of the road. He was in Creedmoor, North Carolina, and he got run over by a car. And so it was a bad break. He was in the hospital for a while, and then he was not mobile, couldn't help with the dairy at all for probably about 6 months. And she went out of business because of it, because she couldn't hire anybody to replace him because she couldn't afford it. So, you've got to think about that. What happens if, you've got, I don't know, COVID, and you're sick for 3 weeks, or you don't have any energy, or you got long COVID. So it's like, we've got a woman at our farmers market right now, and she's having to close her business because she was the only person that could do everything. And, she's got long COVID, and she doesn't have the energy. She can't do it. So she's shutting down. She's a baker. She's shutting down her business, which is really sad, because she's an amazing baker. Isn't she, Brittany? She's
yes.
Baker.
We were so sad.
Oh my God. It makes me so sad. But you just think about those kinds of things. So don't just not even charge or think about what you would charge yourself, or you would pay yourself. Think about what you would pay somebody to replace you. So if that's going to be in our area, nobody's doing anything for less than $15 an hour. Nobody is. So I don't know what it's like in your area. So make sure that is put in there. And then I had a friend recently. I went to a conference, and he spoke at the conference. He's with North Carolina Choices, which is a really cool organization, Lee Menis. And he also said that you should add in depreciation for your equipment. So in particular, he was talking about tractors. So add in that into your profit, so that you can, into your costs, so you can make sure you're covering, so you're always putting money aside, so when that tractor breaks down, kind of thing. So if you're renting land, make sure that's in it. Just figure out some way. And I think it's hard when you've got a whole bunch of different species, which we do. So we do everything by the acreage. So it's like that sort of balances that out for those fixed costs, like our mortgage and all that kind of stuff. And that's just the way we do it, because to me, that's how I can make everything work, and split it up evenly. But you can do it however you want to do it. But you got to remember all those little costs when you're trying to figure out what your main cost of your product is. It's key. It's the difference between a working business and a profitable business. I mean, we're not crazy profitable, but we make a living, and that's really all I want. I don't need to be crazy rich. I just need to be able to live the life I want to live, and not like, have to, I don't know, do something horrible. I don't know. Can't think of anything. Too tired. Christmas.
Yes, that's important. Make sure you're adding up all of your costs into your record keeping, and then setting your prices accordingly, so that you can pay yourself, so that you can make a living wage so that you can continue to be having a business, because you don't want to fold. At the end of the day, you want to be able to continue forward as you're planning. And as your costs are going up, it's okay for your prices to go up as well. People understand that, especially in this time.
Yeah, they really do, especially in this environment. They really understand. I say that, but I'm still nervous about raising my prices by $1 a dozen.
It's probably scary too, but then, the customer who's coming to the farmer's market does know that, this is what you do and this is why it's more expensive, and they're willing to pay that extra $1 because they want those farm fresh eggs, or they want that farm fresh meat or produce that you're sending. So
we've got Gracie from Virginia now. So Misty, also, depending on where you are in the country, you may or may not have good access to competitive feed prices. So we don't. I'm in North Carolina and we don't. But I think if you're in the Midwest, or even I've got a friend in California, and her feed prices are so much lower than mine, and it's not fair. It's just not fair. Like a fraction of the cost of mine. It's just, anyway. So I don't know where you are. I don't know if maybe finding a better feed source for me, it's not an option. I've gotta pay what I gotta pay.
Sometimes you can grow your own. So when you can. Yes, you have to have land, but maybe you can add that into your goal for the future and look and see if that's, financially viable for you or not. Make those pros and cons, those choices.
Well, you don't have to necessarily, you can mill your own and pull stuff in, but then you're still dependent on somebody else's pricing, which is hard. But just be flexible. And I did not do it this year because I was too crazy busy, but I will evaluate my pricing twice a year, sometimes more frequently if something weird happens. So like our processing costs have gone up a lot. So I need to do it this year because I know I'm too low on my pork products, but I'm getting ready to get some pigs back in, and this will be a good time. I just took them to the processor last week. And so this will be a good time for me to reevaluate that and probably have to go up. I'm just going to run my numbers. I've got my Excel sheet with all my formulas in it, so I can just plug in my numbers and I'll be good to go.
There you go. If you take one thing away from today, it's be a record keeper, write everything down, look at every single cost, and look at how you can, what is this costing you? What is that costing you? How can you set your prices, and just keep everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's the baseline. That's where you start. And then of course, then you've got your marketing. How are you going to sell your product? And if your product is a little bit more expensive than the other people at farmers market, how are you going to spin that so that people understand? And a lot of times all you have to do is be honest and just say, look, it cost me this much to raise this pig per pound, and just do that.
Absolutely. And look at your marketing costs when you're putting your cost numbers in. How much is your website? Are you paying somebody to design it for you? Are you paying for Facebook ads? Don't be afraid to put those costs into it as well, because it's part of your overall cost for your business. Let's see. Hi, Gracie. Hope you're staying warm in Virginia. Thanks for joining us today. Gracie also raises pigs. Gracie says, folk need to reconsider buying feed and begin using fodder trays. I did that on less than an acre in a corner of our back porch. If your greenhouse is idle in the winter, try growing winter rye, 7 to 10 days, and you've converted 1 number seed to about 10 pounds. I think that's what that is. Woo! I need to drink more coffee this afternoon.
Gracie, that was one of the things we sort of started off talking about was it was just making sure you've got all your plantings and you're taking all of that into consideration, because that will take, especially for your ruminants, will make a big difference.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. It's a good point.
Thank you, Gracie.
Yes. It looks like Misty is in MO. So
is that Montana?
Montana. I'm so bad. I'm so embarrassed.
When you get into some of those states, Missouri is Michigan is MI. So maybe it's Missouri. I don't know. Mississippi is MS. What's that? Gracie, Misty, tell us. Missouri. All right.
There we go. Oh my goodness, that was embarrassing.
So what's Montana? Is Montana MT? Montana's MT, then it must be.
Thank you. Thank you for calling us out.
Thank you, Missy. If we've learned anything today, it is that MO is Missouri.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, let's get back on track. If you have more questions, let us know. Hopefully, it's not geographically related.
No, it should be. I love it. I love it. Now I'm never going to forget it because it was a little bit embarrassing that we didn't know, but we admitted it. It's okay. It's all
That's
okay.
right. No, and that's one thing. You can always say you don't know and Google it later.
Yeah. There you go. No, I have my husband. I'm always saying to him, "What is this one? What's Utah? What's it?" I always forget. Anyway.
Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, marketing and year in review. So recap. So get a website and keep records and think about what you like doing and what you don't like doing. Because if you don't like doing it and you keep procrastinating, then it's never going to get done. And you might be able to automate it online or hire somebody else to help you out with that part.
I would also say cultivating community. I think that's a big thing when you're doing marketing, and especially as an entrepreneur. And I don't know if you're a solopreneur or you're in this with your partner or you're in this with another business partner who's not your life partner. Then we're small. We're not big. We're not like 10 people or that's so big. 10 employees. That's crazy. There are hundreds of employees. I mean, but even they try to create their brand and they try to establish a relationship. They try to create a community or cultivate a community around their brand and around their business. And that's why when you're gonna raise your prices, everybody's gonna be like, okay, it stinks, but we understand. We want you to be in business. We don't want you to go out of business. And I feel like for us at least at our farmers markets, we've lost a lot of farmers recently, and it's just people who, I mean, they did try to do all the things. They try to do everything right, but it's a rough business, and it's a risky business to a certain extent. But anyway, so I think cultivating community is a really big thing, and you do that. Yeah, and you do that. I cannot say enough about getting an email list and communicating with people through email, which is a good way. You can tell your story. There's so much you can do.
So yes, you can do email lists. You can do that through social media where you're telling your own story through pictures and what daily life is like, because people love to try and get to know the farmer and the animals and being able to feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. So yeah, be authentic, tell your story. So social media, email marketings. And then there are other ways too. You can do it on your website. I feel like I'm forgetting a big one. It'll come to me.
There just seemed to be a big one. The biggest thing though is don't rely solely on social media.
Yes.
As a way to create a community, because I guess it depends on what you're looking for, what you want out of it, but you're not going to get a lot of direct sales out of your social media, especially Instagram or TikTok, because you're going to be reaching out to people who are never ever going to be able to buy from you. So unless you have something that's available for sale online, that's not an animal product. So like we do journals and date books with some of my artwork on them, and those I can, you can sell those all over the country, and it's no big deal because I get them printed through Amazon, so it's no big deal. But it does make keep that in mind too. So if you're selling meat or you're selling breeding stock or whatever you're doing, then it's, you've got to be looking at that local community, and that's going to be through email. That's going to be through, farm visits. That's going to, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And social media is great for building audience and community, but always drive traffic back to your website because that's where your sales are going to happen. So always, always, always link to your website where they can buy, purchase, become a part of your farm venture. So that's a good thing to remember.
And I didn't know that 2 years ago. I didn't know that. I had no idea. I just agonized endlessly over not doing enough on social media because I hate it. And I just agonized over it. And then finally I was like, oh, it's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
not going to make me money anyway. It's okay. So now I do it when I feel like it. And the stress was taken off.
Nope. Yep. And the cycle for social media is very fast. So, whatever you posted 2 days ago was old news. People won't remember that. So
Very true.
that's why you have to continually post things. Absolutely. Let's see. I think we have another question. Misty says, do you only sell terminal meat or do you also sell breeding stock?
So I do not do any breeding stock currently. We will be moving forward, and we have in the past. We've sort of pulled away from that. Probably in the last 10 years, we've pulled away from that. Just because, why? I don't even really know why anymore. There was a reason for it at the time. It just seemed like, I think a lot of it is for me, I worry about where the animals, because we're very focused on animal welfare on our farm. And so I worry about, okay, somebody else takes them. Are they going to, what kind of life are they going to have? Are they going to end up going somewhere else that maybe I wouldn't be okay with that? And so it's a control thing for me. And I think it was just easier rather than just, I don't know, recognizing that was maybe a flaw in my personality. The easiest thing to do was just to not do the breeding stock anymore. Because we have St. Croix sheep. And so we used to do it with the St. Croix. We have recently gotten some Sebastopols, sheep, geese. And so we probably will, we're developing more of a breeding program with them. And we've got some black Spanish turkeys. And we'd like to do more with poultry. Probably still not red meat. I probably still don't think I can sell. We've sold some stuff, but for the most part, I don't think I want to do lamb or anything like that just because, or sheep, just because that can go south so quickly with, depending on how people are treating them. Whereas poultry, I don't know. I should feel bad about them too, but I don't. But I think we're going to do more with poultry. And I definitely want to do some more hatching out and selling day-old chicks or selling, pullets or something like that. I think that's one of the things that my husband and I are going to be discussing is how do we do that? We've talked about it for years. And Brittany's the one that's got me more excited about it.
Yes.
She's been talking about breeding her ducks. And it's like,
Yes.
That'd be fun. So yes, I don't do a lot of breeding stocks, and it's never been like the flagship enterprise in our business. The value added products that we add, what we do with our meat. So we do sausages, and that's really our flagship and our herd share program. So we sell raw milk. No, we don't sell raw milk because that's against the law in North Carolina. We sell herd shares, which means you get raw milk. But yeah.
Great.
Was there anything in particular you had a question about, Misty? Because it may be that Brittany could answer it better than me.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Give her a chance to type it in.
All right. Yeah, we have time for a few more questions. So if anybody has anything else they want to ask us before we wrap things up today, go ahead and get those in. Let's see. What is an average cost of a good functioning website?
You can get a free one that is going to be perfectly fine for you. Mine costs $100, $150 a year. I think they went up with Wix. And I chose to do that because I wanted some of the bells and whistles that went along with it. My website has a lot of photos on it, and the Wix limited, their free version limited how many photos you could put on there. And I didn't want to be limited. And I think they limited how many pages you could have as well. And I wanted a lot of pages, like behind the scenes pages and that kind of thing. But yeah, you can get a really good, solid, functioning website for free, or you'll have to pay for your domain name. But that's but that's not usually very expensive at all, like $15 a year kind of thing. You're not going to be spending thousands of dollars for a good functioning website.
No, between the hosting, the web domain, and most of the templates that you use for the app are free. So probably a couple $100 max a year. Yeah,
so that's my Wix site. That pays for my domain name each year as well. So I mean, it's everything for $150. And I mean, my website needs to work. I need to spend some time sprucing it up a little bit, but that's always the way it is.
Yeah, so I wouldn't spend more than a couple $100 to get everything hosted, designed, and the photos that you need. You don't have to hire a photographer for that. So
Fact had it was the coolest webinar. I always think that Fact does some really good webinars, I think. And it's not just because I work for them. There's so many cool people out there. So many cool people doing things really, really well. We just did, I can't remember what date it was. It was, I can tell you because I'm looking at my calendar. The 14th of December, we did a webinar on how to photograph your farm to tell a farm story. And so it's actually one of our mentees for our mentorship program. She's a photojournalist by profession. And this webinar, she just said, okay, these are the things you need to think about composition, all for photographing your farm. And her photos are beautiful. And none of us are probably going to do as good of a job as her. But still, she had some things to think about that just, composition kind of things you need to think about, different angles. And it was a really good webinar. And all Facts webinars are free. And at the end, Brittany usually puts up that website. So we'll make sure we do that at the end.
Absolutely. Let's see. Gracie says that's what ours is, about $200 a year for domain, site hosting, and security. Yeah. So that's
not
awesome.
a crazy amount of money. That's not even anything you really need. But remember, with that $200, spread it out amongst all of your enterprises so that goes into your cost of goods.
Absolutely. Yes. Don't forget to add those to your cost. Misty says we raise heritage hogs, dairy goats, Highland cattle, and poultry. All right.
Yeah, those Highland cattle are so cute.
They are cute.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yes. So yeah, don't spend a whole lot on website, but you do need to put the time into it to have a functioning website. And think about, simple is great. Think about, what you need. Do you need to sell things online? So do you need either a plugin like through, what is it called? Some of them use plugins, some of them use different apps. So just whatever it is that you need. So think about the user experience as you're setting it up. So look at it from the customer's view, so you can make it easy for them just to do a couple of things.
Yeah, if you're doing more than just sharing information. So the way I do it with my website, I did not set up a store through Wix because I did it so long ago. Wix didn't offer it back then, but they do now. They have an e-commerce whole thing you can do. But what I do is I link everything to my Square online store.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Gracie says, for me, having a company behind it to help me if something goes wrong, toll-free 24/7, 365. That's awesome. That sounds like a great service. So if it's not something that you want to deal with and it's something you feel comfortable passing off to somebody else, build that into your costs.
That's Gracie, fantastic. Would you mind sharing who you are using? Because that might be helpful to Misty.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. There are those services. GoDaddy. She uses GoDaddy.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of people who use GoDaddy and are really happy with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Gracie.
And feel free to do research. Google it, talk to a couple of your friends, other peers in the community that you're working with to see, what they're using, what kind of issues they've had, if they found it valuable to their business. It's okay to go out there and ask people. They'd be happy to share with you usually.
Yeah, and if you are doing your own Fact also did a webinar on SEOs, so search engine optimization, discussing those and how to use them on your website. So if you're going to create your own website, if you're using a company, they'll probably know, but you need to think about what your keywords are so that you show up on Google searches and stuff. And if you listen to that webinar, she did a really good job of laying it all out, explaining it for those of us who really didn't quite understand what SEOs were. I knew what they were in theory, but reality, I just didn't get it. But I did after I listened to Joe Cook's webinars. So that would be another webinar to check out.
Well, that's how you take your website to the next level. So first level is getting a website that's functioning with photos and text and your story and a web store, if that's something that you want to do. And then next you'll want to go in on the back end and work through the metadata and put your keywords in.
Brittany, she was also saying that like the words that you use in your text. So I think even when you're starting your website, you need to think about what those keywords are. So for Gracie, it would, she said very much you need to mention where you are as often as you can, but you don't say say it the same way each time. You try and switch it up a little bit, but you need to on each page have clarity as to what that page is. And so that to me was a really good one. I really need to go back to my website and take the things I learned from her. But so for Misty, it would be whatever your breed of hogs are. You're going to want to mention them on one page. You want to have your dairy goats have another page, and your Highland cattle have another page, and then your poultry have another page. So don't try and put it all into one page because that confuses Google.
Absolutely. So each page needs a goal and a keyword, and you're going to use that several times throughout in the text. So if somebody is Googling raw milk, Durham, North Carolina, and then you should have a page on your website just dedicated to raw milk, North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina. That way Google can say, oh, this is what that person's looking for, and that'll come up in the algorithm.
Which is exactly what I need to do. Mine's like everything is everywhere. But it just and it doesn't matter. She was saying she does the website for the University of Michigan, I think it was. But she said they have thousands of pages, but you only ever see like 5 pages on there. That they've got these behind the scenes pages that you link to. And then those pages are the ones that are very specific. So Gracie, you might have a page that's got all of your homepage, which has got all of your different things or your Highland cattle, your whatever. And then those would link to pages that maybe are not in your search bar. That was like, what? You can do that? I didn't know that. Yes. So that's what I need to do because I have too many pages that everybody can see. Because I just lay them out. My toolbar's got 50 things on it.
You need to have everything on the home page. So yeah, think about what you want to be found for, and then use that to create your keywords and create individual pages for each of those things. So.
And she was saying also that I thought was really interesting that I'm definitely going to do is just also like your philosophy. So because people will search for that, like humanely raised meats or, something like that. So make sure you're using those key terms too that people would search for. And you can try. Her big thing was she's like, you're already in good shape because no farmers do their websites very well. So you're already better than everybody. So I thought that was really funny.
So you can create a page for Highland Cattle, Missouri, and for Heritage Hogs, Missouri, and for, Heritage Pork Chops, Missouri, and all of those fun things. That is absolutely something that you should be doing.
Brittany, I think you should come and do a webinar for FACT talking about website design. I think so.
I can. I love doing website design, so I'm happy to help. You can call me. You can email me. If you need help, just email bsweeney@livestockconservancy.org. I'm more than happy to answer any and all website questions.
I think you're crazy. It's my least favorite thing to do.
Well, our hour is almost up, and I want to say thank you to everyone for writing in such wonderful questions. So thank you, Gracie and Misty and Audrey and Lisa Marie and everybody watching today. We really appreciate your support. Thank you to Sam for guest hosting these Marketing Mondays with me. I appreciate you being here and providing such wonderful insight. Thank you to FACT, Food Animal Concerns Trust, for partnering with us this year. We appreciate you. Thank you to ManaPro for sponsoring the chats this year. Thank you to all of our members and supporters of the Livestock Conservancy. Thank you. We couldn't do outreach and educational programming without you. So thank you for being a part of this. Sam, is there anything you'd like to plug? I know the FACT website, the Food Animal Concerns Trust.org. You can find all of their wonderful webinars there.
I know. We're also accepting through January 10th applications for our grants or proposals for our grants. They're $3,000 grants. They're not crazy big, but they're, it's a little bit, saves a little bit of money here and there. That closes on January 10th. So you've got a few weeks to get that cranked out. And basically it's anything that's going to improve the health and well-being of your livestock animals. So, you know, don't write something about llamas because you're not going to get funded. Oh, you might if you're pitching it as a guardian animal, you could. But like bees, nobody cares about bees. Everybody cares about bees. What am I saying? Everybody cares about bees. But these grants do not care about bees. You're not going to get money for beekeeping, but you could get money for, you know, other things.
Absolutely. So if you've got a project you want to work on for 2023 as you're planning out your year, go ahead, go to foodanimalconcerns.org and apply for one of theirs. Is it Fund a Farmer grants?
Fund a Farmer, and therefore, you know, like fencing or, you know, putting in automatic waters. There's lots of very functional kind of things that are going to improve the well-being of your animals.
That's wonderful. So yes, check out the webinars, check out the grants. Mentoring has closed, I think. Did it?
Mentorship is closed, yeah,
Okay.
for this year. I'm
For this
interviewing and setting people up right now. It's a little crazy. Lots of so much fun.
Well, if it's something you're interested in next year, you can always go to their website again. Let's see. And Sam, do you want to plug your website, bullcityfarm.com?
Yeah, but don't judge my website. It needs to get spruced up. I learned so much this year. I was so proud of it before I went to Joe Cook's webinar, and now I'm just like, oh man, it stinks. I've got to fix so many things. But
It's always a work in progress. So don't
Always.
feel like you have to do all of your website stuff right now. Websites are always changing, always evolving, trying new things. So just pick a few things that you want to improve and then do a
Absolutely.
little bit over time. Otherwise, it can get super
a
overwhelming.
really simple one-page website is better than no website.
Absolutely. Yes. So start small, can continue to build and change as you go along.
Absolutely.
And then one last one, reminder about mydigitalfarmer.com. Corinna Bench has a great helpful toolbox and a great podcast. So we talked a little bit about her year and setting business goals for next year. So go ahead and check that out. And then I will say check out livestockconservancy.org. Oops. I'll get there eventually. And then let's see. Oh, Gracie says, what is website for grants? And that is.
So it's going to be at that food animal concerns job. Yeah, it's going to be there. And then there are tabs along the top, and one of them is for farmers, and it's going to be one of the options on the pull down for that.
Absolutely. So go to foodanimalconcerns.org and then look at the top, and there'll be a tab for farmers, and it should all be there.
Is it Food Animal Concerns Trust, or is it just Food Animal Concerns?
I believe. Let me look. Food Concerns Trust for farmers.
Is it Trust?
Yes. And then if you want a direct link for the grants, it is foodanimalconcerns.org/grants.
That sounds right.
That should have all of the information for you. So yes, go there, apply for money for all of your 2023 projects. Sam,
there's also short courses, and one of the short courses is how to get your farm funded, and it talks about all different kinds of funding. We finished that, I guess, in October of this year, something like that. So that's got a lot of good information on it if you're looking for grants. So just if you're desperate, you may not want to just think about food animal concerns. There's other things too.
All right, that's a great resource. All righty. Well, thank you everyone for a great year of Marketing Mondays.
Fantastic.
We're so excited to have spent such time together and learned so many things. Again, if you have more marketing questions that we didn't get to, or if you think of them throughout the year, feel free to email me at bsweeney@livestockconservancy.org, or you can always email livestockconservancy@livestockconservancy.org.
Can I just say, Brittany, it's been so much fun working with you. You're always so delightful, and you have such a wonderful energy. I just think you're fabulous.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I love working with you too, and I'm glad that we could do this together. It was a lot of fun. We hope everyone enjoyed it, and we will see you again in the new year. Tell us about your wonderful project. Send us an email.
Yes.
And have a wonderful week and a great 2023. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.